So I am investigating some more signal timing phasing and road user behavior at this intersection. These new dedicated U-turn signals were active in 2024 last year. And quite recently I've seen most drivers actually making the U-turn when the U-turn signal is red, but when the green ball is on for through traffic. And I'm also recording here because the signal phasing is quite odd, but I would say that there's one thing that I would say it needs improvement for. For anyone that hasn't watched my video of this intersection that I released about a year ago yet, when the U-turn signals turn green, the through signals are red, and the protected permissive left turn green arrow does not come on. And when the U-turn signal phase terminates, then the opposite direction gets a green ball with the protected permissive left turn, followed by the green ball for both directions. And there actually is a U-turn call, so we're going to be able to see the U-turn signals turn green. It is callable and extendable, and the maximum time is, I think, somewhere in the 20s in seconds for the green interval time. So the U-turn signals get the green light. They had to widen the intersection here so drivers could complete their turn without making a three-point turn. I don't think the opposite direction is going to get the green arrow though, because no, there's only one person there. The detection zone for the protected permissive force section over there is where the third vehicle stops. So unless someone is stopped on that detection zone, there won't be a green arrow for northbound here. Now the other part I'm trying to figure out is, because the U-turn signal turns green and then the opposite direction gets the green arrow after, something else what I'm trying to figure out is, does someone have to be on the detection zone by the time it turns yellow for the side street, or does the yellow lock have to be called for left turns by the time the U-turn signals turn yellow? That I'm still trying to figure out, because I never really found a situation yet where that happens, because the chances of someone driving on the detection zone to the first vehicle position is so unlikely. And also, I've been seeing a lot of drivers making their U-turn when the U-turn signal is red, and I'm not sure if it's, I think they do see the signals, but I've seen most people think that the red light doesn't apply to U-turns, which is not true. They did ban left turns at the next intersection though, for all directions except eastbound. So that's why they put the U-turn signals over there, is because they wanted to increase screen time for through movements for Pharmacy at Eglinton. Right over there, where the school bus is waiting at that intersection, they wanted to increase green time for through traffic. And so what they did is, before this intersection was under construction, all four directions used to have a protected permissive left turn. They converted eastbound left turns to fully protected, and now three directions, northbound, southbound, and westbound, have a no left turn. Now, in order to provide an alternate way for drivers to get to and from Eglinton, they make southbound traffic go straight, and they make people do U-turns at these signals instead. As for northbound left turns, the second intersection from here, I don't know if you can really see from here, but they have fully protected left turns at the second red light from here. And that's where U-turns are also allowed. Or you could take the side street all the way to Eglinton because it takes you directly there. But I'm going to be here probably for some time to figure out how long the maximum green time is, but there has to be a lot of people in the U-turn lane for that to work, which when I got here, the U-turn signal was extending to the maximum as fixed time for some reason, but once I started the live stream, it wasn't doing that. And I'm also trying to determine when the yellow lock has to be called for the left turns for this green arrow to come on here for the 4 section. We're going to need some luck if we want to find out and conclude our investigation, though. This intersection operates as semi-actuated, by the way, so if there's no pedestrian call but there's a vehicle call, then the green ball will turn on without the walk signal to shorten the red light for pharmacy. I don't know how long the cycle length is, and I'm not certain if it's the same cycle length as all the other intersections. Well, Eglinton at least. I think they are though, but I don't know. Okay, so Eglinton just turned red, followed by these signals about 9 seconds ago, so I should keep that in mind. So there is a pedestrian call. The walk will come on. This is one of the very few intersections left where they did not put a leading pedestrian interval yet. I'm perfectly fine with the leading pedestrian interval for the parking lot exit only, though, because nobody can go straight here. And it would be also good if they put an LPI, then it would be good if they have a left and a right arrow, which means if there's only a pedestrian call on the far side, then there could be a left turn arrow here so that drivers who weren't conflicting wouldn't have to wait. No call for the U-turn lane though. Something else I'm also don't know yet is if a driver enters the U-turn lane and makes a U-turn on red, does the U-turn call stay in place for the next cycle, or does the call get canceled? I'm not sure if you can really see. Don't worry, I'm not on the road. I'm not sure if you can really see, but do you see this rectangular section that looks like a rectangular wire on the road? That's the detection zone. So if you're someone that's making the U-turn, you have to stop on that rectangular wires. Otherwise, the U-turn call won't register, and then the U-turn signals will not turn green. For northbound left turns for the opposite direction, that detection zone is where the third vehicle stops. I don't know how well this thing zooms in to see, but I hope you can see it. If not, that's no big deal. Okay, here comes the traffic on Pharmacy. I'm surprised that nobody's willing to make U-turns here, because there used to be so many people that turn left southbound from Pharmacy to Eglinton. I remember like a decade ago the left turn lanes operated over capacity and there's almost nobody making U-turns here. Nobody in any of the turn lanes, so no left turn call for anyone this time, or U-turns. I did see the protective permissive left turn phase come on once after I got here, just a little bit before I live streamed when I was setting it up, but I must have been too late during the day. This is a Saturday, so I picked Saturday because I thought Saturdays would be good busy days for shopping. Surprised to see how empty this intersection is for a Saturday. Maybe we'll be able to see the flashing hands go back to the walk signal for Pharmacy if it happens enough where there's nobody coming from the side street. I don't think this side road even has a name because it's really just a parking lot entrance. Okay, so the Eglinton signals are turning yellow. But 10 seconds later, these signals turn yellow. Okay, never mind. I mean, 10 seconds later, the countdown finishes, I'll say. So we do get to see it go back to lock at least. Because nobody is over there. They also put giant no left turn signs at the near side. Right here. And on the left too, but you can't really see it that well. There's a 67A Pharmacy Nova bus heading to Ellesmere. Maybe there will be a pedestrian call if that Pharmacy Nova bus is dropping riders off. Maybe that bus is not dropping anyone off. Who knows? Nope, nobody got off. Alright, I'm going to be watching the signals at Eglinton from here to see if the countdown over here always finishes 10 seconds after the countdown at Eglinton finishes. Okay, that person should be crossing. Doesn't she want to cross? There is a vehicle called this time, but there's only 2 vehicles waiting. Now there's only 1 vehicle waiting. Okay, never mind, make that 2. The second vehicle is not in the detection zone though, so unfortunately for us, we're not going to be able to see the 4 section do its protected permissive green arrow. See, will it do it? Oh, it does do the green arrow. Awesome. We get to see the protected permissive left turn come on. Okay, the orange arrow. Okay, now the arrow's turned off. The last time someone was in that U-turn lane was like over 10 minutes ago, I think. Maybe they all take Ashtonby instead, which is the 3rd traffic signal north from here. And I'm not seeing any violations of the no left turn at Eglinton either, so they have to be either continuing down Pharmacy or they'd have to be taking Ashtonby. Or maybe they're taking a different north-south road, who knows? Okay, that's the only vehicle waiting there. I'm actually surprised that person didn't cross on red. You don't normally see that happen as much in Toronto. I mean, it depends on the intersection, really. Okay, they shouldn't get a... Oh, they do get the green arrow. I guess that Chevrolet must have been in the detection zone, moving when the yellow lock was on. Or maybe they moved to the detection zone, but from as far as I know, they did not move the detection zone. Also, trucks are not allowed to make U-turns, by the way. It says that U-turns are permitted, but trucks aren't allowed to do that. The signage over there says, and also the signage on the through signals is inverted. Black and white and black. I remember when I was bicycling up Pharmacy Avenue, I was in the left turn lane to go to that Burger King in the morning, and I decided to roll on the detection zone, but slowly when the light was yellow, and even though bicycles don't weigh as much as drivers, I actually managed to trigger the 4-section protected permissive green arrow myself when I was the only one there. And we do have someone in the U-turn lane at last. Will there anyone else show up there? Doesn't look like it. But we will get to see the U-turn signal come on because he is in a detection zone. There's the U-turns, green arrow. That driver's not paying attention. It's your turn to go. U-turns. It's your green arrow. You're welcome. And it's actually still extending, even though there's nobody else. Oh, never mind. I think it's 3 seconds of how long nobody has to be on the detection zone, but I'm not certain. Some intersections is 4 seconds. At highway exits, typically you'd see 5 seconds. That driver was actually extending the green arrow too by not paying attention when his U-turn green arrow was on. That's a good way to extend the green arrow if you're someone that wants to figure out how long the maximum time is. But that's not something that I would do though, unless there's no one else behind me and I know that there's no one else there, then otherwise it's not something that I would recommend doing though. I still feel like the all-red interval here is 2 seconds too long for Pharmacy. Oh, the U-turn signal's coming on this time, even though there's nobody in the left turn lane. Let's see how long it extends. it's moderately extendable, which I love. Especially if everyone that would be turning left down on Pharmacy Eglinton would move here instead. Someone makes a U-turn over there instead. I can understand why if they don't want to wait for the green arrow. Unless there's a sign that says no U-turn, then as long as they don't cut anyone off, I'm perfectly fine with them doing that. I personally think the all-red interval for the parking lot exit is way too long, especially that there's never anyone in the intersection by the time the signal turns yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 seconds. And the U-turn signals come on again. I guess that this would actually be a time for a right turn overlap as well, because as you can see, the U-turn lines are dotted where drivers have to stay in between, so I guess this would be a good time for a right turn overlap to come on. There's a pedestrian call this for right now for the next cycle though. This would actually be a really good time. Next red light, this would actually be a really good time for lots of drivers to enter the left turn lane for northbound, because if the U-turn signals are going to keep coming on as fixed time now, then I would really want the protected permissive left turn to come on that same cycle as well, because we'll get to see the full phasing here, all the phases, especially if there's a pedestrian call too. It's going to allow more time for northbound drivers to enter the left turn lane, stop on the detection zone, and then trigger the 4-section green arrow after the U-turn phase terminates. Maybe we'll get lucky with that, who knows? Pedestrian call on both crosswalks. Nice. Come on, northbound drivers, enter the left turn lane. I want to see the full phasing here. Probably not, but they're at least going to get more time. 20 the countdown. Was there an LPI? There was never an LPI here. It's one of the very few intersections where they never had one here. And there's the U-turns again. We get to see that. Come on. Yeah, I support an LPI for the cross-traffic exit too, especially that the walk signal is currently callable and the walk signal does not come on if the button's not pushed. This is a good approach for a one here. I'm debating, I don't know how this would work, but I'm debating if the fourth section, protected permissive green arrow, should become fully protected. For safety, that's what I love about them, because it prevents, collisions with oncoming traffic and pedestrians as long as people comply with it. But here I'm not sure how it would operate, because there's a lot of times where there's gaps of oncoming traffic. So if there's no oncoming traffic, then it would make sense, I guess, but I typically prefer to minimize turns from being permissive as much as possible. Yeah, the cycle length for an intersection like this, it does seem kind of long, but at the same time, that's why I'm also investigating why it's so long. And I was standing here for a while, and I was observing that the signals just north of here, they have more phasing and more through traffic, and this intersection doesn't. But from what I observed, the signals are coordinated on Pharmacy Avenue. Okay, they are coordinated, and I think they're coordinated for southbound. But in order for those signals to stay coordinated, then all the intersections have to have the same cycle length. I think that's the only reason why the cycle length here is long for an intersection like this. Toronto is installing SCATs, though. SCATs is where the cycle length can vary for all the intersections depending on volumes of traffic. So if this intersection and the others on Pharmacy had SCATs, then if the cycle length at the heavily volume intersections are shorter due to less volumes, then it means all the other cycle lengths would be shorter too. And it would typically be dependent on the intersection that has the heaviest volumes typically. I've been to some areas that have that though, and so far I really like how I've seen it operate. Maybe they'll use them here too sooner or later. Oh, here comes someone for the U-turn lane. And he's not gonna wait. Oh, he's gonna wait. Oh, that's good. Okay, 17 the countdown. Oh no, he's not going to. Don't do it. You did it. I've seen a lot of violations with specifically those U-turn signals, and I'm surprised to say that was actually the first one since I started live streaming here. I drive southbound on Pharmacy Avenue here often, and a lot of the time I see drivers making the U-turn on red. I think there should be a sign that says no U-turn on red, because I don't know, like I see a lot of drivers hardly ever disobeying the fully protected left turn red lights, and I see drivers violating the red light U-turns a lot more for U-turns than left turns, similar to Kingston Road, just west of Brimley. All right, well, I guess we're going to find out now if someone makes the U-turn or leaves the detection zone. Does the U-turn call stay in the control cabinet for the next cycle, or does the U-turn call disappear? I hope it disappears personally, because unless someone else enters the detection zone and stays there. We're going to find out, I think, unless someone enters the U-turn lane. For this cycle, I hope nobody enters the U-turn lane because I really want to find out if the U-turn call stays in if someone leaves the detection zone or if it disappears. And if nobody enters that detection zone, then we're going to find out. It looks like we're going to find out. Okay, good. The signal's no. So if someone enters the detection zone in the U-turn lane, then leaves, and there's no one left, the signals do not make the U-turn call stay. That's good to know. That's one of the things that I was trying to figure out here. The other thing I was trying to figure out here is for the protected permissive 4-section left turn phase. I know that, well, they call it a yellow or amber lock, where it determines if the left turn phase comes on. So someone has to be on the detection zone when these signals here turn from green to yellow, and that's when the signals determine if the green arrow comes on or not. What I'm trying to figure out though is, does someone have to be on that detection zone here when it turns yellow for the side cross traffic road, or do they have to be on the detection zone by the time the U-turn signals turn yellow? We're probably not going to find that out today because apparently it's a lot less busy here than I thought for a Saturday. I mean, unless if I try it myself and try to stop on that detection zone, but that's probably not going to work because obviously I'd be near side and I wouldn't be able to see the U-turn signals from there. And there has to be a U-turn call too in order for that to work. Driver looking down. Not sure what he's up to. Oh, that's just the alarm. I thought something was happening in the parking lot, but it's just someone's alarm, thankfully. We got one person entering the left turn lane. Will there be a second? Probably not before. Nah, just one. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too, about why nobody else gets the green light when the U-turn signals are on. I'm not even, no, that would have to be a City of Toronto thing to contact. I did make a complaint about an intersection at Eglinton and Leslie Streets, but supposedly they couldn't do anything because the Eglinton Crosstown light rail still hasn't opened yet. Metrolinx is still in control of the intersection, and they haven't given it back to the City of Toronto yet. So instead, the City of Toronto just forwarded my complaints to Metrolinx, and I'm still waiting to hear back what they have to say. But this phasing is not necessarily going to be the permanent phasing either. I wonder if this is the same story for here. I don't even know if that was done on purpose or if it was done without thinking. Oh, here comes someone entering the U-turn lane. Maybe we'll get to see a U-turn call. Okay, never mind. He's not going to be triggering the U-turn signals. For those of you who just came on or joins this live stream or what, for those of you that just started watching here, if someone enters the detection zone for the U-turn signals and then leaves the detection zone and there's no one else there, the U-turn signal call will not stay in the control cabinet. So because the driver already made his U-turn, unfortunately we're not going to be able to see the U-turns come on this cycle. There's a pedestrian call though. Maybe that's going to increase the chances that there'll be enough vehicles in the left turn lane to trigger the 4-section arrow. What are those distracted northbound drivers doing? Someone give them a toot in the horn. There you go. I mean, give them a hunk in the horn, I don't know. Oh, and one of those pedestrian signals is facing the wrong way. It's supposed to be facing the same direction I'm looking. Greenlight Green Arrow Studios likely reported that. He pointed that out to me when I was picking him up from work when we drove down here. Also, for those who haven't heard about it yet, Toronto officially implemented its second leading through arrow interval. That is located on Birchmount Road, and I forgot what the side street is called, but I released that video yesterday if you haven't heard about it yet. And there's another 2 more leading through intervals that are set to be active this month as well. One of them is Wilmington, just north of Shepherd Avenue West. The other one is Parkwoods Village, which is just west of Victoria Park at the end of the long right curve. Those 2 are not active yet, but the signals are still bagged and almost ready. Yeah, I feel like that this wouldn't... I think the all-red interval should be maximum 1 second here. If there even is a need to have one for the north-south phase. But honestly, I think I came here too late when it comes to coming here at a busy time. There's almost nobody using the U-turn lane, and I thought that it was going to be a lot more busy for a Saturday. There's not many people, well, there is some people using the left turn lane for northbound, but because volumes are not that high for people leaving the parking lot, the red light is shorter for Pharmacy, which means it's less time or harder for 3 vehicles to enter the left turn lane and stop on the detection zone. I think I'm gonna have to come back another day if I want to see more action here with drivers using the U-turn signals and trying to figure out if the yellow lock for the protected permissive section has to be when it's yellow for the side street, or if it can be also yellow locks during the yellow interval for the U-turn signals. Probably not going to figure that out today, but I'm going to have to come back for that another day. And don't worry, this video will not be deleted for now at least. I'll be keeping that up as well once I end the recording or live stream. It's probably going to take a few hours for it to get uploaded though. I'm going to turn on the audio this time just because there's someone else crossing. Why not? There's a Nova bus here. Oh, the U-turn signals came on. There's no one there making the U-turn. Is it going to extend? Let's see how long it extends to. Oh wait, come on, please yellow lock it. U-turn signals do not turn yellow until that Toyota is on the detection zone. I think he passed it. If the green arrow does come on for northbound, then we'll know. Otherwise, we won't know. It did come on. Alright, so that's good to know. I think we actually figured that out now. Okay, the orange arrow just turned off, so they should be good to cross now. Alright, good to know. That's exactly what I was trying to figure out. Alright, so we figured it out now. The left turn call for that 4-section green arrow can be yellow locked when the U-turn signal is yellow. I know it can for the cross traffic phase, but I always wanted to know if it can also be yellow locked when the U-turn signals are yellow. We found out that yes, it can. Awesome. Now we know. Well, it looks like our investigation has been accomplished here. I'm very happy to find out. The question is, will the U-turn signals come on next cycle? No, it didn't come on this time. Alright, I'm just gonna cross there quickly. I have a feeling that they might have moved the detection zone. Actually, I'm gonna wait for those drivers to go because I'm just gonna be crossing back anyways. There's no oncoming traffic, why not? There's no right turns, so I'll cross. Because that last 2 cycles ago, when the 4th section protect permissive green arrow came on, the vehicle actually triggered the green arrow, even though the U-turn signal's yellow locked when he was in the 1st or 2nd car spot. Just gonna check to see. No, they didn't actually relocate. I mean, you can see they actually kind of technically relocated the detection zone because there's 2 of them, but it's still in the same spot. Wow, I'm really curious how that registered. I would say no, that should be where the 3rd car stops. Actually, they didn't actually move the detection zone. All right, I cannot see my pedestrian signal because it's facing the wrong way, so I'm going to check that signal to see if it says walk. Nope, the countdown started, so I'm going to wait here for the next light. Of course, the one time when we're on the opposite side, the U-turn signal does have a U-turn call, so we won't really get to see it as well. This would actually be a really good... no one's going to get to the left turn lane detection zone in time. Unless the U-turn signal extends. Okay, the U-turn signals are green right now. It did not extend this time, though. Dang, I wanted to see the green arrow come on from this angle for the 4th section, but oh well. Every so often I do see the U-turn signals turn green as fixed time to the maximum green arrow time. It does that for usually a couple cycles in a row, or until there's another U-turn call, but that's probably a different situation than from what I was trying to figure out. Alright, well, I'm just happy that we found out what we were looking for, trying to figure out. So I'm gonna end the live stream soon because I don't want to get home too late. Don't worry, I'm not that far from here by car, but I've been getting up really early each morning because I am now employed temporarily as of June 2nd. So I know it's Saturday night, but Sunday I can sleep in. So I also gotta do my groceries too, which I completely forgot, so I gotta gas my car up. I'm gonna keep this live stream running until next time there's no left turn or U-turn call. Someone U-turns on red. This intersection is problematic with drivers making a U-turn on red, unlike most U-turn or intersections. Too bad that red car did the U-turn on red. We won't be able to see the U-turn call now. We won't be able to see the U-turn signals turn green. Okay, never mind. It actually came on as fixed time. Come on, U-turns, turn yellow. Okay, U-turns don't turn yellow. The vehicle's off the detection zone for this left turn section. Don't turn yellow yet, U-turn signals. Wait for the white car to be in the detection zone. Okay, now turn yellow. I think he's on the detection zone. Okay, his front wheels are off of it. He might be off of it. I think they're gonna get it though. Hey, they got it. Man, I wish I was standing on the opposite corner now. This protective permissive green arrow is extendable too, by the way, depending on how many vehicles actually continue to enter the left turn lane detection zone. Yeah, Toronto uses all red intervals that are way too long. Let me scroll through the comments. From what I have, this comment that you just posted, Traffic Explorer, the comment that says that's a long clearance interval, that's the fourth comment according to the chat log. I'm not removing any comments on live streams though on this one. Unless I trust most of you. I know you're not gonna violate any of the rules, but the only comments I will remove is if it violates the live streaming rules, like inappropriate talk. But I'm not worried about that. I know most of you are fans and supporters, and I appreciate that. Right, will the U-turns come on this time? Yes, it will. Yeah, that I was counting this time. That was a 6 seconds all red interval for that U-turn phase. Which that is too long in my opinion. First off, I think it also depends on if everyone made the U-turns or if there's still drivers that are entering the intersection. Because if everyone has already made their U-turns, then there shouldn't even be an all red interval. If there's still a driver finishing it, then maybe 1 second, maybe 2 seconds. But anything more than 2 or 3 would be, maybe 3 might be a little long too. Okay, this is the U-turn. He's on the detection zone at least. Okay, good. There will for sure be a U-turn phase this time because there is someone on the U-turn detection zone. Still wonder how the signals determine still wonder how the signals determine if the U-turns come on as fixed time or not, because you'll see you may have noticed that the U-turn signals have been coming on as fixed time to the maximum extension time when there's no one there. Okay, someone leaves the detection zone. Will the U-turns extend this time? It is still extending, and I think that Honda driver who's trying to go straight from the left turn lane is actually in the detection zone to trigger the 4-section protective permissive. I'm sure the Mazda driver will appreciate it, but anyone in the through lanes won't. Yeah, the 4-section protective permissive green arrow comes. So that was a 4 seconds all red interval for that protected permissive left turn phase after the orange arrow turns off. Well, the green light's time here won't be as long as usual because a lot of the phases came on, if not all of them. The only thing that didn't come on was the pedestrian call, but other than that, we saw all the phasing this cycle, so that means the walk time and the green time for pharmacy won't be as long this cycle. Because this intersection operates as coordinated, any time that gets extended for green time for cross traffic or left turns gets taken away from pharmacy. What? There's no vehicle call for the side street. No, there isn't. Oh, because the U-turns came on as fixed time. So if there's no vehicle call for the side street in time, then it can revert back to the U-turn signals. That's good to know. Will the green arrow come on? I don't think it will, because he shouldn't be in the detection. No, he didn't. I'm surprised that there's only 2 vehicles waiting on the parking lot exit for a whole cycle that was missed from last time the U-turn signals turned green. Oh, the U-turns didn't come on this time, but the protected permissive left turn did. Awesome. Okay, now the arrow is orange. Now it's off. There's the Nova bus, 67 Pharmacy. Someone just entered the U-turn lane. I don't think he got to it in time, though. No, he didn't. Oh shoot, my phone's low. He makes the U-turn. Well, I think I'm gonna end the stream here because my phone is at my 15% battery warning. But thank you everyone for watching. Don't worry, if you didn't watch this video when it's live, it will be posted within a day or a few hours, depending how long it takes, because those videos are long. But thank you for watching, and you'll get to watch this whole video very soon. Have a good weekend, everyone.